The night was silent, except for the hum of machines deep inside the research base. The Earth sky was filled with strange lights that no one could explain. Some said it was a meteor shower. Others whispered it was something else, something alive. Ethan worked the night shift at the observation dome. He was just a junior technician, someone who cleaned sensors and logged data. But tonight felt different. The machines that always made small, soft sounds were louder. The monitors blinked in patterns he had never seen before, red, blue, and white flashes like a heartbeat. Then, the signal came. A deep tone echoed through the hall, long, vibrating, almost like a voice. Ethan froze. The screen showed a pulse, repeating again and again. It wasn't random. It was a message. "Dr. Reeves," he called out, his voice shaking. "You should see this." No one answered. The room behind him was empty. He was alone. He stared back at the monitor. The pulse changed, now forming symbols, strange letters that shifted like liquid light. And then, for a second, he saw something that looked like an eye staring right back at him. He stepped closer. The light exploded. Everything went white. When Ethan opened his eyes, he wasn't in the dome anymore. He was lying on cold silver ground. The air shimmered, thick and heavy like mist. Above him stretched a sky full of stars, but not the same stars he knew. They moved in circles, glowing brighter and dimmer, like living constellations. He sat up slowly. The place looked endless, smooth metallic plains, strange towers far away, and rivers of light running between them. Then he heard footsteps. Soft, graceful, and steady. He turned, and saw her. A woman was walking toward him, glowing faintly under the alien sky. Her hair shimmered like starlight, soft lavender that caught every color around her. A crown of crystal and metal rested gently on her head. Her eyes were bright, not human, almost too beautiful, too perfect. She wore a gown that floated behind her as if the air itself carried it. Ethan stood, heart pounding. She was real, but she couldn't be. The woman stopped a few steps away and studied him quietly. Her gaze was calm but powerful. It felt like she could see everything, his thoughts, his fears, even his heartbeat. Who are you?" Ethan managed to ask. Her lips curved slightly, not quite a smile. "You hear me," she said softly. Her voice echoed, layered like music. "You understand." I don't know how I got here," Ethan said. "Where is this place?" "This," she said, raising her hand, "is beyond your world. You were called." "Called?" Ethan whispered. "By who?" She stepped closer. "By me." Ethan backed up a little. "Why me? I'm nobody." The air shimmered as she moved even closer. He could feel warmth radiating from her. The scent of strange flowers drifted between them. "My name," she said, "is Eloria, Princess of the Lyther Dominion. I watched your world from the stars. And when your heart reached out, I heard it." He frowned. "My heart? I don't even know what that means." She tilted her head, studying him again. "Your people are full of fire. You fight, you dream, you build. I wanted to understand that. And now, I have found the one who carries that spark." Her eyes glowed brighter. "You." Ethan's breath caught. "Me." Eloria nodded slowly. "You belong to my world now." The words echoed inside his mind like thunder. Before he could speak, a wave of light surrounded him. His body felt weightless, his skin tingling like tiny sparks were running through it. For a moment, he thought he was floating. Then the world darkened again. When Ethan woke, he was inside a chamber, smooth, glowing walls that pulsed gently, like a living heart. Strange symbols floated above the floor. He touched one by mistake, and it shifted into a map of stars he didn't recognize. Outside the transparent walls, he could see massive towers and flying vessels gliding through the air, leaving trails of blue energy behind them. It was a city, but not built by human hands. Everything looked alive, every light, every wall seemed to breathe. He turned as he heard footsteps again. Eloria entered, her gown trailing behind her like a whisper. "You rest," she said softly. "Good. Why am I here?" Ethan asked again, his voice trembling slightly. "What do you want from me?" She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she looked out through the window at the shining city. "My people," she said quietly, "are dying. Our world fades. The stars grow cold. But your kind burns bright. We need that fire." Ethan stepped closer. "You think I can help?" She turned to him, her eyes glowing faintly. "You already are." He shook his head. "I'm not special. I'm just—" She reached out and placed a hand on his chest. The touch was warm, electric. "You are chosen," she whispered. "Do not question the bond." He felt something, like a pulse moving through his heart, linking to hers. For a moment, he saw flashes, a war, alien ships burning, voices crying out, a golden throne empty in the light. Then it was gone. "What was that?" he gasped. "Our connection," she said softly. "It is beginning." Before he could reply, alarms echoed through the walls, sharp, metallic cries. The lights shifted from silver to red. Eloria's expression changed instantly. She turned toward the door. "They have found us." "Who?" Ethan asked. She looked back at him, eyes hard now. "The council. They will not let me keep you." The floor trembled. Outside, ships moved quickly through the air, lights flashing. The city was preparing for battle. Eloria moved fast, pressing a glowing pendant into Ethan's hand. "Whatever happens," she said firmly, "do not let them take you. Stay near me. I will protect you." The door burst open, bright blue light flooded the room. Soldiers in shining armor appeared, their weapons aimed. One of them shouted something in a language Ethan didn't understand. Eloria stepped forward, raising her hand. A field of light exploded between them, blocking the shots. Ethan covered his face as energy crackled through the room. Through the noise, he heard her voice, soft, almost tender. "My people may not understand," she said. "But you are mine now." And before the light swallowed him again, Ethan saw her eyes, fierce, sad, and full of something deeper than power. Something like love. Light exploded around Ethan as the soldiers stormed the chamber. He felt himself pulled backward, not by hands, but by energy. Eloria's shield shimmered between them and the attackers, bending the air like heat. Bolts of blue fire struck the barrier, flashing sparks that danced across her gown. "Stay behind me," she commanded. Her voice carried both power and fear. Ethan crouched low. The soldiers shouted in their strange language. Their armor glowed with the same red light that filled the room. They looked less like men and more like walking machines. Eloria raised her palm. The floor split open, and a narrow path of light appeared beneath her feet. The energy lifted them, carrying both of them upward through the ceiling like ghosts passing through water. Ethan blinked hard, and suddenly they were outside, high above the shining alien city. The city stretched forever, towers made of glass and metal twisted like silver trees. Rivers of blue energy flowed through the streets. Flying ships darted between bridges of light. From this height, it looked peaceful, but below, the red lights were spreading. "They will chase us," Eloria said quietly. "They always do." "Why are they after you?" Ethan asked, his voice shaking. "You're their princess, right?" She looked away, her lavender hair flowing in the cold air. "They believe I broke our law. No royal may bring a human here." Ethan frowned. "Then why did you?" Eloria's eyes glowed faintly. "Because our law is built on fear. My people forgot what hope feels like. You reminded me." Before Ethan could reply, a sharp sound cut through the sky, a hunter ship. Its engines roared like thunder. Red beams locked onto them. Eloria's hand tightened around his wrist. "Hold on." They dropped. The air whipped around them as the light path dissolved. Ethan screamed as they fell toward a narrow canal glowing with liquid blue fire. At the last second, Eloria spread her arms, and the air hardened beneath them, forming a glowing bridge. They landed hard but safe. The ship circled above, searching. Eloria pulled him into a narrow tunnel beneath the bridge. The walls pulsed like veins, glowing faintly. Inside, everything was quiet except their breathing. Ethan leaned against the wall, chest rising fast. This is insane, he whispered. I was at work a few hours ago, now I'm on another planet running from soldiers. Eloria knelt beside him. You are adapting well. He laughed weakly. I'm not sure that's the word. She touched the pendant she had given him. It was glowing softly now. They will track this bond soon. We must reach the outer edge of the city before dawn. What happens if they catch us? Her eyes darkened. They will erase you. Ethan swallowed hard. Erase me. Your body, your mind, gone. They will undo the bond before it grows strong. He stared at her. And you? I will face judgment, she said quietly. The council will strip me of my title. He was silent for a long moment. Why risk all this? For me. She looked at him, her face calm but sad. Because I saw something in you that no one in my world has, courage without power, strength without cruelty. I need that fire if my people are to survive. They moved through the tunnel until it opened into a vast underground chamber. Machines the size of buildings hummed around them, floating spheres of light drifting above. This place, Eloria said, is forgotten. It is from before the wars, a refuge. She touched a panel on the wall. It came alive with symbols and maps. Ethan recognized one, Earth. That's my home, he said softly. Eloria nodded. Your planet is connected to ours through energy gates. We used to visit your skies long ago. Then the gates closed. The council sealed them. Why? Because of fear, she said. Humans grew fast, too fast. The council feared what you would become. But I saw something else. I saw balance. The panel glowed brighter. A small sphere lifted from it and floated in front of Ethan. Inside it, tiny stars spun in circles. This is the bond seed, Eloria explained. It links our lives. Through it, you will feel what I feel, see what I see. Ethan reached out. You mean, we're connected now? Yes. If one of us is hurt, both will feel pain. If one of us dies. He didn't let her finish. Okay, that's enough detail. A soft smile touched her lips for the first time. You are brave, even when afraid. He wanted to say something back, but the ground suddenly shook. A deep hum echoed through the chamber. Red symbols flashed on the wall. They found us, she whispered. Metallic voices echoed from the tunnel behind them. Eloria grabbed his hand. This way. They ran down a narrow path toward another glowing gate. As they approached, Eloria's crown lit up with energy. The gate recognized her, opening like a curtain of liquid light. But before they could pass through, 3 armored figures appeared, blocking the exit. The leader stepped forward, removing his helmet. His face was sharp, pale, with eyes like molten gold. Princess Eloria, he said coldly, you dishonor your throne. Eloria stood tall. Commander Varys, she said. You once swore to protect the royal bloodline. Why point your weapon at it now? You brought contamination into our world, Varys said, glaring at Ethan. A human. The council commands his termination. Ethan took a step back. Termination. Eloria spread her arms protectively. He is under my claim. Varys's voice hardened. Claims mean nothing when the stars demand purity. The soldiers raised their weapons. Ethan's heart raced. Eloria. Stay behind me, she said. Light burst from her hands, forming a shield of violet energy. The first blast hit it and scattered like shattered glass. The chamber shook again. Enough. Varys shouted. He drew a sword made of pure energy. Do not make me destroy you. Eloria's voice grew low. Then try. Their weapons clashed, light against light. The air crackled, heat burning around them. Ethan shielded his eyes, watching as sparks flew with every strike. But Eloria was slowing. Her energy dimmed. The bond pendant on Ethan's chest glowed brighter, burning hot. He felt her pain surge through him, every cut, every blow. He couldn't just watch. Ethan looked around and spotted one of the floating spheres humming nearby. He grabbed a loose metal rod and smashed it into the sphere. Sparks exploded. The machine screamed, flooding the chamber with white light. Varys turned for a second, enough for Eloria to strike. A wave of violet fire sent him crashing into the wall. She ran to Ethan, breathing hard. "You fool," she said, but her voice trembled with relief. "You could have died." "Yeah," he said, panting, "but so could you." She looked at him for a long time, then smiled faintly. "Perhaps our worlds are not so different." Before Varys could rise again, she activated the gate. The light swallowed them both. As they vanished, Varys's broken voice echoed through the chamber. "You cannot run forever, princess. The bond will consume you both." They emerged into a dark forest under a sky full of 2 moons. The air was calm again, but Ethan could still feel the burning in his chest. Eloria looked up at the moons. "We are beyond the council's reach, for now." Ethan sank to the ground, exhausted. "For now." She turned toward him, her eyes glowing softly. "The bond is growing stronger. Soon, it will change us both." The twin moons shone above them like silver eyes watching from the heavens. Ethan sat on the cool ground, still trying to understand what had happened. The air here was thick and strange, not quite cold, not quite warm. The trees around them glowed faintly, their leaves whispering with every breeze. Eloria stood a few steps away, her hands raised toward the sky. The faint light from her crown pulsed in rhythm with Ethan's pendant. It was as if their hearts were beating together, one after another, in sync. He touched the glowing charm around his neck. "This thing, it's alive, isn't it?" Eloria lowered her hands and looked at him. "Yes. The bond grows through energy, through emotion. It links us beyond thought or distance." Ethan frowned. "I'm starting to feel weird since we escaped. It's like I can sense things that aren't mine." "Describe it," she said, walking closer. "I feel sadness," he said quietly, "but not mine. It's like it's coming from someone else." "You." Eloria didn't answer. Her expression softened. "The bond is sharing my emotions with you. You are feeling what I feel." Ethan exhaled slowly. "So that means if you're in pain, you will feel it," she finished. "That is the curse and power of the bond. Our lives are tied until it ends." He looked around the strange forest. "Can it end?" She hesitated. "If one of us dies, yes." Her words hung in the air like frost. They began walking through the forest. Strange blue fireflies floated around them, whispering faintly in alien tones. Every sound was unfamiliar. Birds that chirped like glass bells, leaves that glowed with soft light. Ethan tried to stay close to Eloria. Even in this strange world, she moved gracefully, like she belonged to the stars. "Where are we now?" he asked. "Far from the city," she replied. "This planet's outer rim. Few come here. It's dangerous but hidden." "What's out here?" "Old things," she said. "From before my people rose to power. Machines, ruins, memories, and maybe the answers we need." Hours passed. They reached a cliff overlooking a wide valley covered in mist. Far below, Ethan saw the ruins of what looked like a city, silent, broken towers, glowing faintly under the moonlight. Eloria looked down at it with quiet sorrow. "That was the first capital of Lytha. My ancestors ruled from there before the Great Collapse." "What happened?" Ethan asked. "We created something we could not control. The Star Core, a power that gave us eternal energy. But it was alive. When it awoke, it decided we were not worthy of it." Ethan swallowed. "You mean it turned on you?" She nodded. "It destroyed half our world. The council rebuilt what they could, but they swore never to create a bond between minds again. Until me." He looked at her. "And now we're bonded." Eloria's voice was almost a whisper. "Yes. The same kind of power that nearly ended us, now lives between us." Ethan ran his fingers through his hair, trying to think. "That doesn't sound like something we should be celebrating." She smiled faintly. "No. But perhaps it means fate has given us another chance to use it wisely." They began descending into the ruins. The path was narrow, lit only by the soft glow from Eloria's crown. Every step echoed through the silence. The air grew cooler, thicker. As they entered the fallen city, Ethan noticed something strange. Symbols carved into the walls, the same ones that had appeared on the research monitor back on Earth. He stopped. Wait. I've seen these before. Eloria turned. Where? At my station, before I was brought here. These exact patterns appeared on the screen. She looked thoughtful. Then you were chosen long before the night you saw the signal. The core must have reached for you through the stars. The core again, Ethan muttered. You said it's alive, right? Yes. And it feels the bond between us. That is why we must find it before the council does. He frowned. Why? What happens if they find it first? Eloria's gaze darkened. They will use it to end humanity, and erase your world from the stars forever. A loud hum echoed through the ruins, deep and slow. The ground trembled. Dust fell from the broken ceilings. What was that? Ethan whispered. The core, Eloria said. It is waking again. They followed the vibration deeper until they reached a massive chamber at the heart of the ruins. In the center stood a floating sphere the size of a building, glowing faintly with silver and blue energy. The star core, Eloria whispered, bowing her head slightly. It pulsed once, and Ethan felt something enter his mind. Voices. So many voices. Some whispered. Some screamed. Some spoke in languages he didn't understand. His head throbbed with pressure. Eloria, he gasped, clutching his temples. She grabbed his shoulders. Breathe. Let it speak. The bond is your shield. The core's voice echoed inside both their minds, deep, ancient, emotionless. Two hearts bound. One born of stars, one born of dust. Together, you awaken what was lost. Ethan's eyes widened. It's talking to us. Eloria nodded slowly. It recognizes the bond. The core continued. Balance is broken. The fire of man and the will of the stars must unite, or all will fade. The light around the core brightened. Energy filled the room, rushing like a storm. Ethan felt it pulling at him, trying to draw him in. Eloria grabbed his hand. It's linking to us. Do not fight it. I'm not, it's too strong, he shouted. The core's light engulfed them both. For a brief second, Ethan saw visions, Earth, Litha, the stars between them, all connected by golden threads of light. Then darkness. When he opened his eyes, he was lying on the ground again. The core was silent now, dim and quiet. Eloria knelt beside him, breathing heavily. You are alive. Good. What happened? The core has accepted us, she said softly. But it has changed us. Ethan sat up. Changed us how? She looked at him, and for the first time, he saw a faint glow beneath her skin, small veins of light pulsing softly, matching the rhythm of his pendant. He touched his arm, and saw the same glow. Oh no, he said. Don't tell me. Yes, she whispered. The bond is complete. They stared at each other in silence. Their hearts beat together. Then a voice echoed through the ruins, not from the core, but from above. Princess Eloria. They looked up. Several council ships hovered over the ruins, lights flashing red. Eloria stood quickly. They have found us again. How? Ethan asked. The core's energy must have revealed our position. Beams of light shot down, surrounding them. Ethan's chest burned as the pendant glowed brighter. What do we do? Eloria turned to him, eyes fierce. Now, we fight. She raised her hands, and for the first time, the light that came wasn't just hers. It came from both of them. Violet and gold energy exploded outward, shaking the ruins as the first council soldiers descended from the sky. The war for the bond had begun. The air shook like thunder. Red beams cut through the fog as council ships descended over the ruins. The sound of engines roared through the night, echoing across the valley. Ethan stood beside Eloria, his chest burning with golden light. Her lavender glow merged with his, forming waves of color that pulsed across the broken ground. They are surrounding us. Ethan shouted. Eloria's eyes glowed brighter. Then we make them regret it. She lifted both hands. The air rippled, and a sphere of violet energy formed around them. Blasts from the council soldiers hit the shield and scattered into sparks. Ethan felt the pressure inside his chest grow stronger, like something alive was pushing to be free. His heart pounded faster, matching Eloria's rhythm. "What's happening to me?" he gasped. "The bond," she said quickly. "It's drawing power from both of us. Let it guide you." He closed his eyes, and suddenly, he felt everything. The movement of the soldiers. The energy in their weapons. Even the heartbeat of Eloria standing beside him. He opened his eyes, and for the first time, his hands glowed, gold light wrapping around his fingers like fire. Eloria looked at him with both awe and warning. "Ethan, control it, or it will consume you." "I'll try," he said, taking a breath. The first wave of soldiers charged. Their metallic boots struck the broken floor as they fired glowing shots. Ethan raised his hand instinctively, and a wall of golden light appeared, deflecting the blasts. The energy felt heavy but alive. "Not bad for a human," Eloria said with a faint smirk. "I'm learning fast," he replied. She stepped forward, and with a graceful motion, sent out a pulse of violet energy that threw the front line of soldiers backward. They hit the walls with a flash of sparks. But more were coming. Dozens of ships hovered above, forming a ring around the ruins. Their cannons began to glow. "They're preparing to fire all at once," Eloria warned. "If they strike together, this city will vanish." "Then we stop them before they do," Ethan said, gripping his pendant tightly. The bond between them flared like a heartbeat. Light flooded the ruins. Their colors merged completely, gold and violet swirling together into a brilliant white glow. Eloria and Ethan rose from the ground, lifted by the force they created. The soldiers froze, staring up in fear and disbelief. Ethan's voice echoed, deep and resonant. "We don't want to fight you." Eloria's voice joined his, harmonizing with strange beauty. "But we will, if you force us." The ships fired. A storm of energy struck them, and vanished. The combined power of their bond absorbed the blasts and sent the energy back, scattering the fleet like dry leaves in the wind. Explosions filled the sky, painting the night with red and blue fire. When the smoke cleared, silence returned. The soldiers who survived dropped their weapons. Eloria landed slowly, the light fading around her. Ethan followed, still shaking from the rush of power. He looked down at his hands. "We did that." Eloria nodded. "Together. This is what the bond truly means, unity between two worlds." Ethan's breath trembled. That was incredible, but also terrifying. Her eyes softened. Power always is. Before they could rest, a voice came from the sky, amplified and cold. "Princess Eloria, cease your resistance." Ethan looked up. A larger ship was descending, darker than the others, covered in silver markings that pulsed with red light. Eloria's expression hardened. "The Council's flagship." The voice continued. "Your crime has been witnessed. Surrender the human, and the Council may show mercy." Ethan shook his head. "They're not going to let us go, are they?" "No," Eloria said. "They fear what we've become." A bright beam of light cut through the clouds, focusing on them. The ground cracked where it touched. "We can't fight that," Ethan said, shielding his eyes. Eloria turned to him, her voice low and urgent. "Listen carefully. The bond gives us more than power, it gives us choice. You can break it, if you will it." He stared at her. "Break it? You mean end the connection?" "Yes. If you do, they may not sense you. You could return to your world safely." "And what about you?" "I will face them alone." Ethan shook his head. "Not a chance." She looked at him with pain in her eyes. "You don't understand. The longer you stay bound to me, the more it will change you. You're already becoming something else." "I don't care," he said. "You brought me here, but I'm staying because I choose to." For a moment, silence hung between them. Then she smiled faintly, the kind of smile that carried both sadness and pride. "Then we stand together," she said. The beam from the flagship grew brighter. Eloria raised her hands again, gathering her strength. Ethan joined her, focusing the power from his chest. The bond flared once more, brighter than before, almost blinding. But this time, something felt different. The light didn't explode outward. It folded inward, wrapping around them both. The next instant, everything vanished. No sound. No air. No light. Only darkness, soft and endless. Ethan opened his eyes slowly. They were standing on nothing, surrounded by stars that stretched forever in every direction. "Where are we?" he whispered. "The space between worlds," Eloria said. Her voice echoed softly in the vastness. "The bond has pulled us here to protect itself." Ethan looked around. "It's beautiful, but it feels alive." "It is," she said. "This place is the core of the bond, where our energies merge." He reached out, and a trail of golden light followed his hand. "Feels like we're inside a dream." "Maybe we are," Eloria said. "But remember, dreams can shape reality." As they floated there, the stars around them began to move, forming shapes, faces, towers, flames, oceans. Each image flickered like a memory. Eloria's eyes widened. "These are visions of possible futures." Ethan turned as one of the lights showed Earth, cities in chaos, skies burning red. "That's my world," he said quietly. "It's being destroyed." Another vision showed Litha, her world, frozen in silence, dark and lifeless. "If the Council wins," Eloria whispered, "both our worlds will fall." Ethan clenched his fists. "Then we have to stop them." "The core has chosen us," she said. "We must return and finish what it began." The stars pulsed brighter, surrounding them in white light. The silence broke, replaced by a deep hum like the heartbeat of the universe itself. A voice spoke again, but this time it was warm, calm, and ancient. "Two souls bound by fire and light. You are the bridge between worlds. Protect the flame, or all will fade." The light grew so bright that Ethan couldn't see. He felt the ground return under his feet, real ground, solid and rough. They were back, standing at the edge of the ruined city once more. The Council's ships were gone. Only silence remained. Ethan looked around, dazed. "Did we win?" Eloria shook her head slowly. "No. They retreated, but only to prepare for something greater." He frowned. "Greater than that?" "Yes," she said. "The High Council itself will come." Ethan sighed. "Then we'd better be ready." Eloria turned to him, her eyes glowing softly. "You are learning fast, human." He smiled slightly. "Guess your world is rubbing off on me." They stood together under the pale twin moons, the bond between them glowing stronger than ever. But far above, in the shadows of space, the High Council watched, and their judgment had already begun. The twin moons hung low over the ruins, glowing like two silent witnesses. Ethan stood beside Eloria, his chest still flickering with golden light that refused to fade. Every time he breathed, he felt energy humming beneath his skin, alive, restless, and growing stronger. He tried to steady himself, but his hands trembled. "It's not stopping," he whispered. "The power, it's still inside me." Eloria turned toward him. Her silver eyes reflected the moonlight. "The bond doesn't end when the danger fades. It's part of you now. Part of both of us." He nodded, but the worry didn't leave his face. "Then what happens if I lose control?" She looked away for a moment. "Then it will consume you, and everything around you." The words hung in the air like a blade. Ethan didn't reply. Instead, he looked up at the stars, remembering Earth, his city, his people, his old, ordinary life that now felt like a dream. They walked through the broken city until they reached a quiet area, the remains of a great temple, half buried in sand. Strange symbols glowed faintly on the walls, whispering in a language Ethan couldn't understand. "This is the Hall of Echoes," Eloria said softly. "A sacred place. It listens to the voices of the past." Ethan touched the wall. The stone felt warm, almost breathing. "Feels alive," he said. "It remembers," she replied. "Every battle, every prayer, every betrayal." "Betrayal?" he asked. Her face darkened. "Long ago, my mother trusted the Council. She believed they wanted peace. But they only wanted control. When she refused to give them the core's power, they destroyed her. Ethan's throat tightened. You saw it happen? Yes. Her voice broke slightly. I was a child. I watched as our palace burned. The council took everything, my family, my world, my future. That's why they fear me now. He looked at her quietly. Because you survived. She met his gaze. Because I remember. For a moment, silence filled the temple. Only the wind moved, carrying dust and faint whispers. Then Ethan felt something strange, a pulse from the floor, like a heartbeat. He stepped back. Did you feel that? Eloria nodded slowly. The hall has awakened. The walls began to glow brighter, the symbols shifting like living light. The air grew thick with energy. Then, from the far end of the hall, a tall figure appeared, cloaked in darkness, eyes burning red. Ethan tensed. Who is that? Eloria's voice dropped. A memory, or something worse. The figure spoke, its voice deep and echoing. Daughter of the fallen queen. You walk with a creature of dust. Ethan frowned. Creature of dust. Nice welcome. The voice ignored him. You have bound yourself to the forbidden flame. The balance trembles. Eloria stepped forward. I will not let the council decide what balance means. The core chose us. The core does not choose, the voice replied. It tests. And you may not survive the test. Before Ethan could react, the ground shook violently. The hall split open, and beams of light shot upward. The air filled with a deafening hum. Ethan! Eloria shouted. Hold on! But the floor gave way beneath him. He fell through the light, spinning, weightless, until everything went black. He woke up in darkness. Cold air brushed his face. He sat up slowly, disoriented. The place was silent except for a faint drip of water echoing in the distance. Eloria, he called out. No answer. He stood, the golden light on his chest faintly glowing. The room was circular, made of dark stone that pulsed with slow, red veins of energy. Then a whisper came from behind him. She can't help you here. Ethan turned, and froze. It was himself. Another Ethan stood in the shadows, identical in every way, but his eyes were completely black. His voice sounded like a distorted echo. What is this? Ethan asked. The dark version smiled faintly. I'm the part of you that the bond awakened. The side that wants power. The one you're too afraid to admit exists. I don't want power, Ethan said firmly. The shadow stepped closer. Liar. You felt it. When you fought the soldiers. When you sent their ships burning into the sky. You loved it. Ethan shook his head. That's not who I am. Maybe not yet, the shadow said. But it's who you're becoming. The ground trembled. Golden and black light clashed around them, sparks cutting through the air like lightning. Ethan gritted his teeth. You're not real. The shadow laughed. Then why are you trembling? It lunged forward, and suddenly they collided, their lights merging, fighting for control. Ethan's mind filled with flashes, Eloria screaming, worlds burning, the council falling before him. He shouted, trying to push it all away. I won't be your weapon. With a final burst of golden light, the shadow shattered, and everything went silent. When Ethan opened his eyes again, he was lying on the temple floor. Eloria was kneeling beside him, holding his hand. You're back, she whispered. You were gone for hours. He groaned softly. Felt like years. She touched the light on his chest. It was flickering weakly. The hall tried to test your heart. It wanted to know if you could resist the darkness. He gave a tired laugh. Barely. Eloria smiled faintly. But you did. That means there's hope. Ethan sat up slowly. Hope for what? She looked toward the stars shining through the broken ceiling. For both our worlds. The core has seen your strength, now it will answer us. He frowned. Answer us how? The temple trembled again, but this time it wasn't from danger. The air filled with shimmering particles of light. The symbols on the walls twisted, forming a circular pattern glowing gold and violet, the colors of their bond. From the center of that light, a voice emerged, calm, deep, and ancient. Two hearts bound across stars. The path to unity begins where sacrifice ends. Ethan glanced at Eloria. What does that mean? Her expression turned serious. It means the core is ready to open, but it will demand a price. A price? Yes, she said softly. To merge our worlds, to save them, one of us may not survive. Ethan's heart froze. You mean? Yes. She met his eyes, tears glimmering faintly. One must give up their essence to balance the bond. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Only the soft hum of the temple filled the silence. Finally, Ethan said quietly, "Then we'll find another way." "There may not be another way," she said gently. "Then we'll make one," he replied. "Together." Eloria stared at him for a long moment, then nodded. "Together." But deep in her eyes, hidden beneath her calm, was a shadow of fear. Because she already knew what the core truly demanded. And she had already decided who would pay the price. The night was still, but the stars above were restless. Eloria stood on the edge of the broken temple, her silver gown fluttering in the cold wind. The moons had grown pale, and a thin beam of light from the heavens marked the place where the core's power slept, deep beneath the ruins. Ethan joined her quietly. His chest still glowed faintly, a heartbeat of golden fire. He looked up at the beam. "That's where it's calling from, isn't it?" Eloria nodded. "Yes. The core is awakening. It knows what comes next." Ethan sighed. "You mean the part where one of us has to die?" Her eyes softened. "It's not death. It's transformation." "Sounds the same to me," he muttered. She turned to face him. "Ethan, listen. The bond between us is strong, stronger than the Council ever expected. But that power is unstable. If we use it to merge the worlds, it must be balanced by one life force. Without it, both worlds will collapse into nothing." He clenched his fists. "Then we'll find another way. I won't let you sacrifice yourself." Eloria smiled faintly, the sadness in her eyes hidden behind calm strength. "You forget, I am the one who brought you here. This was never your burden." He shook his head. "It became mine the moment you said, 'You belong to my world now.'" She blinked, surprised at his words. For a brief moment, her royal mask broke, revealing the woman beneath, frightened, hopeful, and human in her own way. They descended through the ruins together. The deeper they went, the brighter the light became. The walls shimmered like living crystal, showing flashes of memories, cities, oceans, and faces from both worlds. Ethan stopped at one image, a child with lavender eyes standing beside a tall woman wearing a crown. "Is that your mother?" he asked quietly. Eloria nodded. "Queen Elindra, the last true ruler of Lytha." "She looks kind." "She was," Eloria said softly, "until the Council turned her kindness into her weakness." Ethan looked at her. "You're nothing like weak." Her lips curved into a small, sad smile. "You don't know what weakness feels like until you lose everything you love." Before Ethan could answer, the tunnel widened into a vast chamber. At its center floated a sphere of pure light, huge, blinding, and alive. The core. The air hummed with energy. Every breath felt heavy, every heartbeat echoed. Eloria stepped closer. "This is the heart of both our worlds. The source of creation itself." Ethan stared at it in awe. "It's beautiful and terrifying." She nodded. "Because it remembers everything. Every war. Every promise broken. Every soul that ever reached for power." The core pulsed, and the ground trembled. Voices whispered around them, thousands at once, speaking in languages neither of them knew. Then, from the light, a shape began to form, tall, cloaked in silver, its face hidden behind shifting energy. "You have come," the being said. Its voice was deep, echoing like the stars themselves. "The bond is complete. One must yield." Ethan stepped forward. "There has to be another way." "There is not," the being replied. "The bond is unstable. If both remain, both worlds will burn." He looked at Eloria, panic rising in his chest. We can fight this. She shook her head. No, Ethan. The core speaks truth. I've known this since the beginning. What do you mean? He demanded. I didn't bring you here to save me, she said quietly. I brought you here to replace me. Ethan's heart froze. Replace you? Yes, she whispered. The core needs balance, one from light, one from shadow. You are human, of mortal energy. I am royal blood of Lither, bound to the core itself. Only my death can stabilize it. He stepped closer, shaking his head. You can't do this. Her eyes shimmered with tears she refused to let fall. I must. He grabbed her arm. Eloria, no. There has to be something else. I won't let you. She placed a hand on his cheek. Ethan, listen to me. You were meant for more than one world. You carry light no human ever could. You can lead both our people, together. He felt the warmth of her touch, the soft vibration of their bond. The golden light from his chest flickered faster. You think I can lead them? I'm just a soldier, a nobody. Eloria smiled softly. Even nobodies can change the stars. The core flared brighter, almost blinding. The being raised its arms. The time has come. Choose. Eloria turned to Ethan one last time. Promise me something. What? When the light takes me, don't look back. Before he could speak, she stepped into the core. The light swallowed her instantly. Ethan shouted her name, but the sound was drowned in thunder and light. Energy exploded outward, shaking the entire planet. He fell to his knees, covering his eyes as the core burned through every color, violet, gold, white, until it finally went silent. When the light faded, she was gone. Only her voice lingered, soft and distant. You belong to my world now, forever. Ethan rose slowly. The core floated before him, smaller now, calm and steady. His chest still glowed, but it was different. The violet hue of Eloria's energy now mixed with his gold, forming a perfect balance. He understood what it meant. She hadn't just sacrificed herself, she had become part of him. Why her? He whispered, his voice breaking. The being's voice answered gently. Because she believed in you. Ethan looked up, eyes burning with grief and determination. Then I'll finish what she started. I'll protect both worlds. The core pulsed once, as if in agreement. A path of light opened before him, leading upward, toward the surface, toward the stars. He took a deep breath and began to climb. When he reached the open air, dawn was breaking over the horizon. The two moons had faded into the morning sky. The ruins around him glowed faintly, healed by the core's energy. The wind whispered softly, and for a moment he thought he could hear her voice in it. I'm still here, Ethan. He smiled sadly. I know. As the first sunlight touched his face, he felt something stirred deep inside, a quiet power, calm but infinite. The bond was no longer two souls. It was one. And that one soul carried the light of both worlds. The sun rose slowly over the ruins of Lither, turning the broken towers gold. Ethan stood on a high ledge, staring at the horizon. For the first time since he arrived, the air felt calm. Yet inside him, inside the glowing mark on his chest, a storm still burned. He touched the mark gently. The golden light pulsed once, then twice, and a faint whisper echoed in his mind. Ethan. He froze. That voice, soft, melodic, unmistakable. Eloria. He looked around quickly, but no one was there. The ruins were silent except for the wind. Eloria, he whispered. Where are you? No answer came, only a faint echo inside his head, like the memory of a heartbeat. He closed his eyes, focusing. The light on his chest responded, glowing brighter. And then, for the briefest moment, he saw her. Eloria stood before him, not in body, but as a shimmering projection of light. Her hair floated like mist, her eyes glowing softly with violet warmth. You kept your promise, she said. Her voice was distant, but filled with calm strength. Ethan stepped closer, stunned. You're alive. She smiled sadly. Not as you knew me. I am part of the core now, a voice inside its light. He shook his head. "No, I can't lose you again." "You haven't," she whispered. "The bond still connects us. But you must understand, Ethan, the council knows what happened. They will come for you." As if on cue, the ground trembled. A shadow fell across the ruins. Ethan turned and saw the sky darken as a massive ship descended, far larger than any before. Its hull glowed with red energy, and symbols of the High Council shimmered across its surface. Ethan clenched his fists. "They found us." Eloria's image flickered. "They are not here to talk. They will destroy everything to reclaim the core." The ship's loudspeaker boomed across the valley. "Human vessel-bonded entity detected. Surrender the core's energy or be annihilated." Ethan's heart pounded. "They think I am the core now." "Because you are," Eloria's voice said. "You carry both our powers. That's what they fear." He looked up at the massive ship. "Then let them fear." The ship opened fire. Beams of red light rained down, shaking the ground. Explosions ripped through the ruins, scattering debris and fire. Ethan raised his hand instinctively, and golden light burst from his palm, forming a massive shield that absorbed the blasts. He gritted his teeth, pushing harder. The shield held, but barely. The power surged through him, wild and alive. "Ethan, control it." Eloria's voice echoed in his mind. "If you lose focus, the energy will consume you." "I'm trying," he shouted. He dropped to one knee, struggling to keep balance. The light from his chest spread across his body, tracing glowing patterns along his skin. The power was too much, too fast. Then he remembered her words, "The bond gives us choice." He focused, breathing slowly, channeling the energy instead of fighting it. The shield grew brighter, gold mixing with faint violet light, her energy joining his once more. With a roar, he released it. The blast tore through the air like thunder, striking the council's ship. The entire sky lit up in a storm of fire and electricity. The ship's shield shattered, sending fragments of metal raining down. For a moment, silence. Then, another sound, deep, mechanical, ancient. From the ship's wreckage, a tall figure emerged. It was clad in dark armor, its face hidden behind a silver mask that reflected the light like glass. Its eyes glowed crimson. Eloria's voice trembled slightly. "The Arbiter, the Council's enforcer." Ethan narrowed his eyes. "Then let's finish this." The Arbiter stepped forward, its voice echoing like metal. "You carry stolen divinity. The bond between human and royal blood is forbidden." Ethan raised his hand, golden sparks dancing around it. "You want the core. Come take it." The Arbiter didn't hesitate. It moved faster than lightning, striking him with a pulse of red energy that sent Ethan flying through the air. He crashed into the broken temple wall, pain shooting through his chest. He groaned, trying to stand. "You hit harder than your friends." The Arbiter raised its hand again. Red energy swirled, forming a spear of light. "You are not worthy of the power you hold." Before it could strike, a surge of violet light exploded from the ground. Eloria's ghostly form appeared, standing between Ethan and the Arbiter. "Enough," she commanded, her voice echoing through the ruins. The Arbiter paused, its head tilting slightly. "A projection. A shadow of the fallen princess." "I am more than shadow," Eloria said fiercely. "And you will not harm him." The Arbiter hesitated, just long enough for Ethan to regain his balance. He rose, golden light blazing around him. "She's not alone. Neither am I." He rushed forward, energy trailing behind him. The two forces collided, gold and red clashing in a storm of sparks and light. The impact shook the ruins, sending shockwaves across the valley. Eloria's voice guided him through the chaos. "Focus your mind, Ethan. The bond gives you control." He dodged another strike, then countered with a burst of light from his chest. The blast hit the Arbiter square in the chest, cracking its armor. The red glow inside it flickered. "You're strong," Ethan said through clenched teeth, "but you don't understand, this power isn't about control." The Arbiter lunged again. "Then what is it?" Ethan raised both hands. Gold and violet light spiraled together, forming a beam that cut through the air. It's about trust. He unleashed the beam, and the Arbiter screamed as the light engulfed it, disintegrating into a flash of red particles. When the light faded, nothing remained but silence. Ethan collapsed to his knees, exhausted. His breathing was heavy, but the power inside him finally began to calm. Eloria's voice returned, softer now. You did it. He looked up at her glowing form, faint and fading. We did it. Her image smiled, proud, sad, and beautiful. You're stronger than you know. The Council will fear what you've become. He stood, gazing at the empty sky where the ship had been. Then let them. Because next time, I won't just fight for survival. Eloria tilted her head. Then what will you fight for? He looked at her, his eyes burning with quiet resolve. For both our worlds. For the promise you made me keep. She smiled one last time. Then our story isn't over yet. Her light began to fade, drifting upward like mist in the morning sun. Ethan reached out, whispering, I'll find you again, Eloria. I promise. And as her image vanished completely, the cause mark on his chest glowed once more, brighter, deeper, alive. Somewhere far above, in the dark halls of the High Council, alarms began to sound. The Arbiter had fallen. The human had survived. And the cause power now belonged to him.